What's going on, folks? Zach from Uchuu Shelf here. It's been about 4 months since my last collection video, and I filled out my first full bookshelf. So I thought now would be the best time to revisit it, so without further ado, let's get into it. Right, so like every good collection video, we will start at the very top and start at the very left. Before we get into that, I'm going to just point out here my Asuka figure. Well, not mine, technically. It's my fiancée Ellie's. But it's our joint waifu, so it's partially mine. I feel some bit of an ownership to it. Anyways, first up, we've got volumes 1 through 3 of Mohito Kito's Bokura no. This is a series that I have wanted to collect for God knows how long. It's actually a series that I used to own in its entirety back in the day before it went out of print and before my basement flooded and I lost my first collection. So I've been rebuilding it bit by bit, piece by piece. Unfortunately, much of Bokura no is out of print. Volume 3 is stupidly out of print, and it's actually thanks to Base Senpai, who I will link in the description below, for bringing me to the attention of a sale in which this thing was dirt cheap. So, still got, I believe, 9 volumes, I want to say, to go to complete this, but if you haven't checked out Bokura no, if you're, even if you're not a mecha fan, it's more of a Death Games kind of thing than anything. It's very psychological and cerebral as well. It follows a group of children who have to pilot a giant robot named the Zayarth, and basically they're pitted against other robots. These robots are, of course, containing other groups of children from different universes, and the loser of every fight is basically the universe that gets destroyed. So not only do they have to save their universe, they have to save themselves, because when you pilot the Zayarth, you die. So nice happy little manga to start off our collection. So let's move on to the next one. Next we have Dead Demons Dead Destruction by Yuasa. This is a series that I've been shilling on my channel from the very beginning. My very first video was specifically about this series. It's a very good series. The first few volumes are admittedly really slow, and I know that turns off a lot of people. If you are out there and you have dropped this because of the slow pace, and because admittedly nothing really happens in the first 2 volumes, so if you are one of those people who did drop it because of the slow nature of the series, definitely give it another shot. The difference in tone and setting between Volume 1 and Volume 7 are just night and day. It's just unbelievable how great this series is. A lot of Yuasa's works are great. Admittedly, I think that Dead Demons is probably, by the time it finishes, which I think is going to be soon, it's going to be his magnum opus. It's definitely my favorite series of his right now, even more so than Pun Pun, which we will talk a little bit about next. Absolutely love these Viz Signature editions. Not just for the fact that you can see Pun Pun's face in kind of like an outline of it when you put all the spines together, but the fact that it's really clever that it goes from a very bright and happy yellow, which, I mean, I'm not saying that the first volume's contents are bright and happy, but when you get down and you get into about Volume 5 where the grayscale starts and then goes gray, black, and white, it's a pretty clear indicator as to the tone of that volume. Overall, a very depressing series. Would definitely recommend holding off on reading it if you are in kind of a depressed mood, although it may help you. I know, in particular with a few people, myself included, it did help me get through that a bit, so definitely check it out. It's definitely a very well-written series. The art is phenomenal, as is a lot of Yuasa's works. So yeah, let's move on to the next in this Yuasa shelf, because that's what most of the top shelf is. A Girl on the Shore has become something of a meme in the MangaTube community, at least in my group of friends, in that it is one of the only Yuasa works that you cannot recommend to people. If you've read it, you know why. If you haven't, be very careful buying it. Order it online. Don't buy it from a store. And just remember that it's fiction, and that getting past all of the contents, the story is actually quite good. And we'll just leave it there. And next, in contrast to A Girl on the Shore, I've got Solanin, the easiest Yuasa work to recommend to anyone because of how palatable it is. Despite that, it is a very depressing story. It's just the least depressing and the more accessible, I think, to a mainstream audience. I know that it was nominated for an Eisner Award back when it was released in English. I also have the Solanin and Epilogue, which was exclusive to the Toronto Comic Arts Festival a couple of years back when Yuasa actually came to Toronto for a meet and greet that I stupidly missed because it was very poorly planned on TCAF's part, but it's a story for another day. Love Solanin. Don't entirely like the epilogue. I don't think it adds a whole lot. Solanin's a very self-contained story that wraps up perfectly, and the epilogue just kind of adds this, like, 10 years later look at everything, like to see where Mako is, who Mako ends up with, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. and just to see what happened to Meiko. It's 2 chapters, but the first chapter is about what happened to Meiko's apartment, and I think it's a family that moves into it. And the other chapter basically follows Meiko seeing what her life is like basically after the events of Solanin. The one thing I also didn't like about it is you'll see the covers here. So you see Solanin is one of his earlier works, and then you see this is Meiko on both covers. So you see the differences in style here. I do love Inio Asano's style regardless. I know his later work is more polished compared to his older work, but there's something that can be said about the charm of his older work in that it is not less refined, but a little bit more soulful than I think his current work is. Not to say that that's bad, just a humble manga tuber's opinion. Next, I have What a Wonderful World, Volumes 1 and 2. I actually haven't read these yet. I picked them up in anticipation for a podcast I did for my first episode of Between the Shelves with my good friend Callum, which, quick shout out to him, first of all. I'll link his channel on the shelf in the description below. Also, if you're into podcasts that are irregular, don't have very many episodes, and are pretty much just 2 dudes talking about manga for the whole time, check out Between the Shelves. Go to www.mangapodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter @mangapodcast. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on iTunes. And that's all I remember where I submitted the podcast to. It's been so long since I've even worked on the bloody thing. Anyways, don't know what this is about. I know it's just a short story collection split up into 2 volumes. I've heard it's very good. The artwork is fantastic, as is every other Inio Asano one. I can only imagine that the stories are as crazy as the rest of his works, but unfortunately don't know a lot about this one, so let us move on. So now I have Volume 1 and 2 of Happiness by Shuzo Oshimi. I have only just kind of started my Shuzo Oshimi collection, have absolutely loved their manga from the time that I've watched and read The Flowers of Evil. Happiness was a series that was recommended to me again by Callum from On the Shelf, who fought tooth and nail with me. He said, this is the best Shuzo Oshimi work. Flowers of Evil doesn't hold a candle to this, and honestly, after the first 2 volumes I've read, still don't really agree. I do love it. It is a fantastic series. Another one that might be hard to recommend considering how the main character finds out he's a vampire. I'm just gonna say he basically smells period blood and then gets hungry for human blood. So most of Shuzo Oshimi's works are kind of weird and decrepit like that, though. So it wasn't too much of a surprise, but it was just kind of like, huh. So I'd still recommend it. Definitely check it out. I'm not one who's into vampires at all. Stuff like Dracula, Twilight. Again, I don't know much about vampires. Those are pretty different series, but Happiness is pretty good. Definitely check it out if you guys are into stuff like that. So next up in my modest Shuzo Oshimi collection is The Flowers of Evil 1 through 4. These are the complete editions, of course, containing the entirety of the series. I wanted to specifically highlight these 2 covers. So Volume 1 doesn't look like anything bad. You look at it and you think, okay, this is neat. What could this be about? Of course, I already knew what it was about. I bought these after I watched the anime, and I also bought them after I read the scans online, admittedly. And I had this Volume 1 for a while, and I thought, I'm going to collect Volume 2. And I was in a bookstore on a whim, and it was there, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to pick it up. It was like 10% off or something like that. I didn't realize what the cover was, actually, until I got to the cashier, who flipped it over to scan the barcode, and then flipped it over and looked at it, looked at me, looked at it again, and just kind of did not make any eye contact with me for the remainder of the purchase. So, got out of the bookstore, pulled it out to read on the bus, and thought, oh, okay. Yeah, I can see why she thought that was a bit weird, it's just a couple of schoolgirls in bathing suits, just staring back at me, so. That's kind of the price you pay when you read manga, though. Sometimes the cashiers see the weird stuff. Next, we have Taiyo Matsumoto's Blue Spring. This is very old. This is, I actually purchased this from a used bookstore. And, yeah, fantastic little short story collection about just a group of Yankees, which, delinquents, and just all these, little stories. They're kind of interconnected. There's a character from Tekkon Kinkari, which is my favorite manga of all time, that actually makes an appearance in here, which I thought was a very, very cool little Easter egg, because I've always wanted to read Blue Spring. It's one of the many Taiyo Matsumoto works that are, for whatever reason, either out of print or just not over here. You can see how old it is by the Viz editor's choice and the very old Viz logo, so if you're able to get your hands on this, definitely pick it up. It's definitely a very, very interesting little short story collection. I love, delinquents and stuff like that, juvenile delinquents. In gangs, fighting each other and stuff. It's one of my favorite little subgenres of manga, and it doesn't get a lot of love here in the West, honestly. I don't understand why. Stuff like Crows, Shinjuku Swan, I don't know, there's just a whole lot that I think we need a Year of the Yankee, sooner or later. I don't know, maybe you guys agree with me on that. So next up we have Tropic of the Sea and Opus, both by Satoshi Kon. Both, I think, are the only of his manga actually worth buying. I know he has a couple that are out over here. I don't think they're as good as these two. Mostly because Tropic of the Sea feels like an anime movie just on paper. And Opus, I think, is the most clever ending to a manga. Specifically because Opus was unfinished at the time of Satoshi Kon's death. Rest in peace. And they actually found the manuscript for the final chapter and just worked it in beautifully to the end of Opus. And definitely check these both out if you can. I'll also link a video in the description where I talked about Satoshi Kon's career as a mangaka, because it actually predates him a little bit to what he is well known for, and that's anime movies such as Paprika, Perfect Blue, Toko Godfather's television series such as Paranoia Agent. So if that's of interest to you, you can check that out. That'll be down in the description below. So a lot of people actually don't know this about me. My other passion aside from manga is actually Japanese music. I used to run a blog called Japanese Music Rocks, where I would, it wasn't really a blog, it was just I would post songs that I would find every day. Had a bit of a following there for a bit, but anyways, I digress. So these are two CDs that I actually really love. So the first one is Best Hit AKG by Asian Kung Fu Generation. My all-time favorite Japanese band, second all-time favorite Japanese band, second only to Massa the Fermenting Dregs. Of course, found these guys through the second Naruto opening theme, Haruka Kanata, which, again, fantastic track, one of the best Naruto opening themes, even Shippuden. I mean, realistically, no opening can hold a candle to the second Naruto opening theme. But yeah, this CD has every single one of my favorite Asian Kung Fu Generation songs, like Understand, Kimi to Yohana, Rewrite, A Town in Blue, Loop and Loop, Blue Train, After Dark. Every song on this friggin' thing is just phenomenal. And the other CD here is, I'll provide a bit of context to this. So aside from Japanese music, my favorite musical genres are folk punk, Midwestern emo, punk rock, and ska. So Kemuri is a Japanese punk ska band, and I was at MCM, and that's where I bought this Asian Kung Fu Generation CD. And I saw this, and they were playing it, and I thought, you know, this is pretty cool. They were so desperate to just give me this CD. They're like, you know what, if you buy this CD, we'll give you a t-shirt. And you know me. You know Uchuu Shelf. The guy whose wardrobe is exclusively black t-shirts. Got himself another black t-shirt, so thumbs up to me. Yeah, so down to the next level, we have Inio Sano's Nijihara Holograph, which I would love to put up next with all my other Inio Sano stuff, but unfortunately it does not fit with that top shelf there. So this is one of Inio Sano's older manga. I believe it came out, I want to say, after Solanin. And it is, it's one of those series you have to read, I think, a couple times to fully get the plot. I've read it once. I read it in anticipation of my first episode of my podcast with On the Shelf there, and yeah, it was good. You follow along with it easy, but at the end of it, you're like, wait, what? Huh? Hold on. So it's definitely something I think you got to read a couple times to get the full grasp of the plot. And from what I've heard from other people who have read it, that is the case. So if you haven't read this, it's just another one of Inio Sano's works that you should definitely check out. I think if you can, try and support this guy, because he's making some of the best manga out there right now. So next is Tekkon Kinkreet by Taiyo Matsumoto, my favorite manga, but my favorite mangaka. A lot of people actually seem to think that Inio Asano is my favorite. Couldn't be any further from the truth. Everything by Taiyo Matsumoto is pure gold. I know his style is not for everyone, but for some reason it resonates a lot with me. Every story he tells is just fantastically perfect and poignant. And to be honest, Taiyo Matsumoto is really criminally underrated. There's a lot of his manga that have made their ways to like France and Italy that I really want to read. Number 5 is a huge one that I want to read. I know Viz put out the first 2 volumes like ages ago. They're severely out of print. They didn't sell well at all. Like, they sold under 1,000 copies, I think, each. So, I mean, I'm learning French again. I might be taking classes for it again soon because there's just so much in France that France gets that I need to read. And I'm just getting tired of waiting for English publishers to put out good stuff, so we'll see. So next up we have 2 of my coveted possessions of my manga collection, and that's volumes 1 and 2. It's the omnibuses 1 and 2 of Ping Pong by Taiyo Matsumoto. Now, these are French. I bought these, 1, because I'm learning French, and learning through manga seems to be the best way to make things stick for me. And 2, because I was getting tired of waiting for Ping Pong to come out in English. No, I'm not even joking. I've been waiting for Ping Pong since 2005. I watched the live-action movie in 2004. I think I watched and read Tekkon Kinkreet the year after. Got introduced to Taiyo Matsumoto, learned about Ping Pong. I read Ping Pong on scans, admittedly, but I really wanted to own it. It's a fantastic series. I love everything about it. And it's finally getting released. It's like May 20th of this year. And I'm still going to buy it. I'm definitely still going to buy it. But these editions are phenomenal. They're hardcover. The paper quality is insane. The lettering is just perfect. It's got a built-in bookmark. It's one of the best pieces of manga I own. And honestly, I am jealous of French manga fans. Here in the West, in English-speaking countries, we are getting screwed. Like, the quality between something that Viz would put out versus something that Delcourt or Tonkam would put out is night and day. You can't even compare it. It's just so unbelievably different. So next up in my little Taiyo Matsumoto shrine, I have all of Sunny, volumes 1 through 6 by Taiyo Matsumoto. Going to leave it here though, because Sunny I have a specific video about coming out in the next few weeks. In another video, I think it was either a What Did I Read this week or it was a haul, where I talked about how I just finished Sunny and how I was on the fence about it being my favorite manga, maybe dethroning Tekkon Concrete. But I recently, actually just in the last couple of days, reread Tekkon Concrete again. And nothing is going to make me feel that way about anything the way Tekkon Concrete does. But Sunny is really beautiful. It's honestly one of the most beautiful stories I've ever read. Little known fact is that it's actually semi-biographical because Taiyo Matsumoto, at one point in his life, in his childhood, himself was an orphan. So a lot of it is drawn on his personal experience. And you can really tell because the way it's just written is just so perfect. So look forward to that. If you're not subscribed to the channel, definitely do. If that's something you're interested in, you can check that out in a couple weeks. Next up, we have Casa De Louvre by Taiyo Matsumoto. Now, this was a gift from, again, my good friend Callum from On The Shelf, and also is my podcast co-host. Check us out at Manga Podcast, links in the description, etc., etc. I've started trying to read this once or twice now, and I definitely recognize that it's a manga you have to read in one sitting. I've tried picking it up and coming back to it, and it's, it doesn't hit the same way. Like, it's definitely one of those manga you have to read cover to cover to get the full story and just to kind of understand everything all at once. Admittedly, also slightly apprehensive about it. I'm a huge cat lover. I have 3 cats, and if any of the cats in this manga die, especially Snowbebe, I'm probably gonna have to take a leave of absence from work just to emotionally recover. I'm kidding. I mean, I'm not, but... Next, we have the first 2 omnibuses, I think they're 3-in-1s, from Dark Horse, of the Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service by Eiji Otsuka and Hosei Yanazaki. This series follows 5 graduates of university who have basically formed a company which specializes in dealing with the dead and their last wishes. It's a very dark and, at some points, gory manga. It's, I bought this because I'm almost certain I had this in my old collection. I either had it or I borrowed it from someone. And I remember it being awesome, but I read the first one again, and for some reason, I don't know, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I'm going to give it another shot. I'm probably not going to collect more than these 2, but I don't know. There's something about it that I just, I didn't like, but I thought I liked it for some reason, so it's one of those things, Next up, we have the first 4 3-in-1 omnibuses from Dark Horse of Hiroya Oku's quintessential masterpiece, Gantz. What else could be said about Gantz other than that it is mind-numbingly stupid in the best possible way? The premise it sets up is perfect. By the time it gets to the middle of Omnibus 3, it introduces psychics and dinosaurs. There is a shooting spree in which a man dresses up in blackface for some reason. It's definitely gratuitous in how it handles violence. There is tons of gore, especially in the 3rd arc, the Buddhist temple arc. There's just so many deaths and so much gore in that. If you're into that, it's like, yes, this is awesome. Like, I'm into it because I love violence and stuff like that. But, yeah, I mean, even the sexuality in this, it's like every start of the chapter is like a woman with huge tits, brandishing a Gantz gun, wearing a really scantily clad version of the Gantz suit. And, yeah, I mean, it's got something for everybody, even the kids. Much like the Wu-Tang Clan, Gantz is for the children. That's just a fact. Next, we have Yoshihiro Tatsumi's A Drifting Life. Yoshihiro Tatsumi is, of course, the godfather of Gekika manga, which I've got a video coming up. I've been saying this for months, and I've got a video about Gekika manga coming out. It's one that I'm putting a lot of effort into because it involves a lot of research. I want to make sure I know what the hell I'm talking about before I put out a video and everyone goes, well, actually, because who has the time to deal with that? And yeah, I got this for, it was a Christmas present from my fiance, so shout out to her, bloody legend. And, yeah, I mean, I haven't read a whole lot about this, so I can't say much about it. I believe it's kind of semi-autobiographical, about Yoshihiro Tatsumi's life and the way he creates manga. Again, I'm just talking out my ass. I really don't honestly know what this is about yet, but I am reading it next, so we'll find out. So these 2 books technically aren't manga. Not technically aren't manga, they just aren't manga. They are art books. The one on the left is the Masaaki Yuasa art book. There are so many cool things. There's like early sketches for some of his anime, some stuff about ping pong because he directed that, Kaiba, Mind Game. There's just so many cool things in this. I thumbed through it a bit when I was doing my last What Was I Reading This Week video. I'll link that in the description below as well. Probably won't actually. Every time I say I'm going to link something in the description, I never do. Don't even know how to recommend where to buy this. Just find Masaaki Yuasa art book on Amazon or whatever. I would definitely recommend this. I'm not one who usually collects art books because I don't really see the benefit in them. When I have a book, I like to be able to read something and get something tangible out of the story, but these are phenomenal. The next one, the one on the right, is one of the 2 Tekken Concrete movie art books. It has all these like sketches of background designs, early character designs, everything about the production. It's just, oh my god, it's so cool. My favorite anime movie, based on my favorite manga from my favorite mangaka. Saw this, paid a stupid amount of money I would never spend on a normal book in my entire life at MCM London last year. The guy was like, okay, yeah, you can certainly buy it for the ridiculous markup I put on the sticker. And yeah, I've been through that book about 20 times already. It's a fucking blast. I mean, I love that movie, so to be able to get kind of an inside look at it, no brainer. It's awesome. The only thing that's killing me at the moment is that I cannot find the white side. Like, this is the black side, because there's 2 characters in the movie. There's black and white. So this is the black side has a whole bunch of stuff and art around that character. I assume the white side has more production sketches, production art, stuff around White's character. I found it on eBay, but I can't find it at a decent price. So maybe I'll get it at MCM next year. We'll see. Next up, we have volumes 1 through 5 of Kyu Hayashita's Dorohedoro. This is a wonderful manga. Like, this hits all the sweet spots for stuff I absolutely love in manga and storytelling to begin with. I have had volume 1 for like 3 years. Haven't read it. Just bought it on a whim when I was at a bookstore and I was like, yeah, I'll read through this. This looks cool. Never read it. Recently, Flip Otaku, who I will also link in the description below if I haven't already, was like, man, you gotta read this. You gotta collect it and you're gonna love it. So I was like, okay, so I ordered volume 2 in anticipation that I would like it. I read through both volumes 1 and 2 pretty much straight away. Ordered 3 through 5 right after I finished volume 2. I absolutely love this story. I love everything about it. I've done a first impressions of it. I'll link that in the description below. You know what? At this point, I don't think the description can actually hold any more links. So just go over to my channel. You guys will find it. I don't have that many videos. You can do the work yourself. So here we have Cigarette Girl by Masahiko Matsumoto. This is another example of Gekika manga, one that I actually have read most of. I've really enjoyed it. I picked this up in anticipation of creating my Gekika manga video, and also I wanted to experience more Gekika manga because a lot of my manga collection is just kind of your traditional manga, and I'm always looking for something that's a little different that goes way outside the lines, and this does exactly that. If you are a fan of things that are a little bit different, I would definitely check out Cigarette Girl. It's a collection of short stories, I believe. I think maybe they're very tangentially related in some small degree, but it is very good. What I have read of it is very good. I'm still working through it, of course. One of many things on my backlog, for sure. So, continuing with Gekika manga, we have That Miyoka Asagaya Feeling by Shinichi Abe. One that I would definitely not recommend for kids. One that I can't even show many of the panels on a video. And that is because they're very explicitly sexual. Again, haven't read too much of this. I'm saving it, of course, for my Gekika manga video, which you guys are probably tired of hearing me say that that's coming out. It is, eventually. Let's move on to the next manga. And then last on this level of the shelf, we have volumes 1 and 2 of Adachi Toka's Noragami. Noragami is a fantastic anime. It is the perfect entry point for someone who actually wants to start watching anime. It just has all the elements that make anime so fantastic. The only thing is, I wish Bones would stop making My Hero Academia for at least a couple of years, so they had the time to make Season 3 because they ended Season 2 on a bloody cliffhanger. But since I can't trust Bones to do the right thing and actually make a 3rd season of something other than My Hero Academia, I guess I'll just have to read the manga. It's a hard knock life for me, 'cause there is no Season 3. So we are on the 3rd shelf of this bookcase, and we are looking at volumes 1 through 8, omnibuses of course, from Dark Horse, as that seems to be their specialty, of I Am a Hero by Kengo Hanazawa. Fantastic series, absolutely perfect zombie story. I'm not a huge zombie fan, but this absolutely kills it, knocks it out of the park. If you haven't seen the live-action movie of this, by the way, I believe Funimation puts it out, do yourself a favor and watch it. I've seen a lot of zombie movies, a lot of them aren't my favorite, but everything about I'm a Hero is perfect. Like, there is a scene in that movie where, I'm trying not to spoil it, but he's in an underground parking garage. There are zombies coming at him from both ways, and there's like hundreds of them. And he takes each and every one of them out by himself. Aside from that, I believe it's actually a very realistic portrayal of humanity after a huge disaster, especially in how the individual people act. For example, the main character, Hideo, his main shtick is that he has a gun license. Guns, of course, are illegal in Tokyo, except in special instances, for example, if you have a license. And he will not let anyone use it because he wants to uphold the law. He's trying to maintain the last bit of civility in a world that has gone completely batshit insane. And yeah, I mean, there's so much about this that I can say good things about. Honestly, I'm just going to say go read it. I still have the last 3 omnibuses to collect, and I'm going to get that this weekend, actually. Because knowing Dark Horse, they're going to go out of print really, really soon, and I cannot have that happen. What's going on, folks? Zach from Impulse Control Shelf here. I purchased volumes 1 through 12 of Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin, the hardbacks, the real nice editions from Vertical. Got them for a fantastic deal, a steal, if you will, in an eBay auction, which I almost got outbid on, but I came up the winner. And yeah, I mean, I bought all these wanting to collect them anyway, not wanting to pay the ridiculous MSRP on them, and I have yet to read a single one. Seems to be how it goes when you're a collector. You know, you collect them first, and maybe you read them. It all depends. Of course, I'm pretty familiar with the Origin, much of Gundam's Universal Century storyline anyway. So this isn't going to be too new to me, but again, it's fantastic artwork. The editions are beautiful. I'm not a huge fan of hardcover manga to begin with, but the way that this is done is just gorgeous. Like, the covers are just fantastic. Look at all these spines, just all the coloring and the detail. Just love it. Speaking of Gundam, we've got volumes 1 through 3 of Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt, which are bloody fantastic. I've read through the first one. I absolutely love it. These were gifts from my good buddy, Flip Otaku, who I believe I've left his link in the description already. If I haven't, go check him out. He makes some of the best content on YouTube. And honestly has some of the most fun live streams, many of which I'm on at the wee hours of the day. This, of course, is another entry to the Gundam franchise that is set in the Universal Century, which is honestly my favorite. I think that's just the mainstay of being a Gundam fan. But yeah, as I've said, I've only read the first volume, so I can't say a whole lot about this other than that I love it, and I cannot wait to read and collect more. And continuing with mecha manga, we have Neon Genesis Evangelion, the complete collection from Yoshi, Sakamoto, Kara, Hideaki Anno, of course. Now, this isn't just mine, this is also my fiance's. This is our joint favorite anime. Our first date when we were long distance was actually watching the entire anime. We like start to finish, we watched every single episode. Still haven't watched the rebuilds together. We're probably going to wait for the 4th one to come out before we do that, if and when that ever comes out. And yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic series. I don't think I have to talk a whole lot about Evangelion. I think at this point everybody has a tangible knowledge of what it is about. Get in the robot, right, guys? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't read this, admittedly. I haven't gone through it too much. I don't know how it differs from the television anime. I know that the rebuilds definitely differ from the television anime. Not in the best condition. I bought these as they were from a store in Birmingham, and I mean, I wanted to just collect it. I was kind of like, I don't really care. I really don't care about the quality of my manga, because all the manga I buy isn't stuff I'm going to sell anyway. So the quality doesn't matter to me as long as I have it, if that makes sense. Here we have volumes 1 through 3 of Mob Psycho 100. I know I'm going to lose a bit of street cred for this, but I have not read or watched a lot of Mob Psycho 100. I've read about half of the first volume. I've watched only the first 4 episodes of the anime. And I don't know, at the time, I was just like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. It felt, I don't know, it was just a combination of stuff that it didn't hit me the right way. But I saw a scene from season 2 where it was like, everybody was beating the shit out of this one guy. And I was like, okay, maybe I should check this out. But yeah, I'm glad I picked these up. I'm absolutely loving it so far. I am waiting until I get more because I actually blew through the first half of volume 1 quite quickly. And it's one of those series that I want to have a lot more so I can enjoy it all at once rather than like read through the first 3 and then have to wait. Although they're Dark Horse volumes, I believe, so I don't even know if volume 4 is even out. So this might be all I can read at the time. Next up, we have what I believe to be Naoki Urasawa's magnum opus, and that's 20th Century Boys. As a somewhat old-school manga and anime fan, I've always been aware of this series, but have never picked it up for whatever reason. I know it's got live-action movies, and I know that there were singles way back in the day, but it was just one of those series that I was just really consciously aware of, but for whatever reason didn't pick up. And I'm glad I've picked it up now. I can appreciate it a little bit more now that I am an older manga fan. and I'm a little bit older as well. I can definitely relate to a lot of the things that happen in this. Definitely not the, like the robot stuff and the end of the world stuff, but the, having a secret club, having stupid plans to do stupid things like most kids do, and seeing how that all unfolds as, the kids transition from being kids to adults. Got myself the first 4 omnibuses. The 5th omnibus was from my good friend Alonzi. I'll link him in the description below as well. Check him out if you can. He's making some pretty good manga content as well. I know a lot of people seem to prefer the singles, but honestly, I don't like the look of the spines. I think these look a hell of a lot better than the singles do. So, just my humble opinion, but feel free to fight about it in the comments below. Next up, we've got volumes 1 through 8, the entirety of Tatsuki Fujimoto's quintessential Fire Punch. This is a really weird series. The first few volumes are very coherent in the way that they set up the world and the storyline, but towards the end of the 4th volume, when they introduce the bad guy, like the main big bad guy, you find out the motivations behind why they're doing all the bad things you do, and it's kind of like, that's interesting. Really hard to describe the tone of the series going from the end of volume 4 forward. Definitely differs from the first one, definitely turns it all upside down, but it's still good. It's still weirdly good. Yeah. It's definitely check it out. I'm not going to say much more than that. It's violent, it's definitely not for kids, and the title is quite accurate. Now, Black Clover is honestly my favorite thing running in Shonen Jump right now. I don't care for My Hero Academia. Boruto can take a hike for all I care. Only joking, I'm not going to tear down your favorite series just to raise mine up. It is honestly my favorite thing running in Shonen Jump right now. I absolutely love the characters, I love the power scaling, I love the world and the world building and all the effort that Yuki Tabata has put into it. Like, there are callbacks to things that happened in the most recent of chapters that have been just kind of hinted at in like the first 2 volumes. Why I like Black Clover, I know a lot of people say it's unoriginal and that it's a ripoff of this or that or whatever. Which I think is I'm just going to do a quick tangent here because I think that's a really stupid argument. If you look at a lot of Shonen Jump's manga, especially Battle Shonen, a lot of it's similar, guys. Like, there are very few elements that you can make original. But I think Black Clover is aware of the fact that it is absolutely not 100% original. It plays very, very heavily into the cliches that it uses. Honestly, though, it's just a very fun manga. It reminds me heavily of things like Naruto and Bleach, and those are 2 series that I grew up on, so when they ended in Shonen Jump, there was that hole that kind of was left in my heart. That, quite frankly, Black Clover was the only new thing to plug it, honestly. So, yeah, I absolutely love it. If you haven't checked out Black Clover, you can do so on Manga Plus from Shueisha, or visit Shonen Jump app, all for free, or for a modest price of like $2 a month. So, next up, we have volumes 1, 2, and 4 of Naoki Urasawa and Osamu Tezuka's Pluto. There's a funny story behind why I only have these 3 very weirdly numbered volumes. So I got number 1 in a giveaway. I ordered number 2 in anticipation, but instead of getting number 2, I got number 4. I ordered it off a used bookstore's website, and it was like 45 emails, I'm not even joking, back and forth of me mostly explaining why they've given me the wrong one, and why I need number 2, I don't need number 4, and how volumes work, and how it basically got down to the point where I was explaining why 2 comes before 4, as stupid as that sounds. That all culminated in them going, well, we actually don't have volume 2, so you just have to have volume 4. And we don't do refunds. So I was like, wow, okay, I guess I'm stuck actually collecting this series. So I didn't for the longest time because I had other things that were a priority to collect. And then my good friend Hannah from Highland Manga, which shout out to her, I'll link her in the description as well. Absolute legend, got me this volume 2 for Christmas. And with a little note enclosed that said, it's always bugged me that you've only had 1 and 4, but not number 2. And when you're both manga fans, and your friends, that's just a good sign of true friendship. So thanks again. So I'm just going to apologize quick. I didn't realize the glare from the light was going to show this badly. But anyways, we've got volume 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen by Gege Akutami. Another of Shonen Jump's more recent hits that are absolutely fantastic. I love Jujutsu Kaisen. I bought volume 1 because I want to support the creator. I'm actually caught up with it on the Shonen Jump app, which if you aren't, go read it. It's fantastic. It's got an anime coming out this year, I believe. If not this year, probably early 2021. I believe it's been confirmed. I don't know 100%, but MAPPA is doing it. So this is going to be right up there. This is going to be, if this airs this year, this is going to be this year's Demon Slayer in terms of just being that anime that everybody gets hyped about. So definitely look forward to that. Definitely pick this up if you haven't read it. Check it out. Fantastic series. And just earlier, we were speaking about what a good friend Highland Manga is. When she went to Japan, she picked me up volume 1 of Chainsaw Man in Japanese, knowing that I absolutely love this series. And it's one of my prized possessions. So again, thank you. Haven't read it, and that's because I can't. but I am caught up with it on the Shonen Jump app, so I think that evens it out. So guys, we're in the home stretch. If you have stuck with me this long in watching this video, I have absolutely no idea how long this video. I can only imagine it's been at least a half hour at this point, so thank you for deciding to watch me instead of something interesting. So here we have the box set of volumes 1 through 7 of Pokemon Adventures. I also have volume 8. So volumes 1 through 7 covers all of Kanto. Volume 8 starts off Johto, I believe. And this is a very good manga. I didn't realize how good Adventures was. I knew that it existed, but it tells the Pokemon story differently, but very, very well. Maybe better than the anime, actually. But you know, that's subjective. I mean, I think the games are a hell of a lot better than the manga and the anime combined, so that's just me. Definitely check it out if you're a huge Pokemon fan. Even if you're just a manga fan, definitely check it out. It's a good manga in its own right, even if it wasn't Pokemon. So here we have my good Christian Bible, aka the Death Note All-in-One Edition. It's still amazing how they fit the entirety of this series into one massive brick, and the quality is actually insane, and the price point was even ridiculous for how much manga you're getting. I think it was something along the lines of like 50 or 60 bucks, and that's really good considering how long Death Note is, so the entirety of the manga for that is just dirt cheap. And the quality of this is perfect. Like, the paper quality is insane, the cover quality is awesome, although it bends a little bit, as you can see. That's kind of unavoidable with how big the book is, though. The text is a bit small. Thankfully I wear glasses, so it's not a huge strain, but yeah. If you're going to read Death Note or pick it up, definitely pick it up this way. I don't know if you can read it on the Shonen Jump app. Might be one of those series like Hunter x Hunter where you have to buy the volumes individually. But yeah, I mean, I think most of you have read or watched Death Note at some point. If you haven't, you're missing out. So now we're in the rapid fire. This is just all series that I only have like volumes 1s of, short series that I don't have a whole lot to say about. So we're going to power through them because I think at this point I'm tired of recording. So we've got volumes 1 through 3, the 3-in-1s of Dragon Ball Z. Now, I wasn't allowed to watch Dragon Ball Z as a kid, so this is kind of my post-teenage rebellion. And I gotta say, it's pretty average. I know I'm gonna probably get torn apart. It's just not for me. I think it's something you have to grow up on to really appreciate. And unfortunately, I didn't get to grow up on it. So it's, I don't think I can appreciate it to the degree that Dragon Ball fans can. Next, we've got volumes 1 through 3, the entirety of Dot Hack, Legend of the Twilight. My very first manga, recently bought it again because, as I've mentioned before, lost my original manga collection in a basement flood. Entirely my fault. Won't go into it much more. Dot Hack, XXXX, there's a better way to pronounce that. I don't know what this is about. The used bookstore that I purchased manga on screwed up and sent me this and just said I could keep it, so. Next we got volumes 1 through 4 of Golden Kamuy, which I really love, and I really need to collect more of, but I believe you can read it all on Viz's website, and I believe the Shonen Jump app as well, funnily enough, so might just do that. We've got volumes 1 and 2 of Which Had to Tell You, which was one of my favorite new series as of recent. I haven't read volume 2 yet. Volume 1 was just fantastic. The art was beautiful, reminded me of something out of Studio Ghibli, but mixed with something entirely original. Probably one of the more easily to digest fantasy stories that have come out of manga recently. And yeah, definitely a good entry point to someone who wants to get into manga. And then we have volumes 1 and 2 of Land of Illustrious, which again, another fantastic series, which I have no reason why I haven't collected more of. So at the time of recording this, I am about to go on vacation to London for a little bit. And I'm doing a huge vlog where I am going to search for a ton of manga, and I think Land of Illustrious I'm going to try and collect more of. And then we have Go With the Clouds, North by Northwest by Aki Ide, and Ran in the Grey World by Aki Ide as well. Collected volumes 1 of these each just to kind of see if I was going to like it. I love Aki Ide's artwork. I loved volume 1 of Go With the Clouds, North by Northwest. I hear the story kind of tapers off after that though, so I don't know, we'll see how that goes. And then Ran in the Grey World I read. I liked it. It wasn't entirely my cup of tea. I don't know if I'll collect more of it, but might give this away at some point. I don't know. We'll see. And then we have volume 1 of Yoshitoki Oyama's To Your Eternity, which I absolutely loved as well, but I think there's so many volumes. I have so much stuff I have to collect. Like, a lot of these bottom few shelves are either my fiance's manga or manga that I want to collect more of, but I just honestly don't have the time or money, and I have better things I want to collect, such as Satoshi Mizukami's Spirit Circle. Now, I love Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. I have most of it, and it's back at home in Canada, and I can't get it because no one wants to bloody send it to me. If either of my brothers or my sister are watching this, can one of you send me my manga? Because I need it. Please, I'll pay you guys to do it. Just please do it. And then we got Fire Force Volume 1 by Atsushi Okubo. Bought this on a whim because I love Soul Eater and I wanted to see what his new series was like. Gonna get a lot of hate for this. Absolutely didn't like it. Well, I shouldn't say that. It was okay. It was definitely a very middle-of-the-road shonen. The anime I watched a good chunk of was just fantastic. But that's mostly because of the powerhouse animators behind it in the studio. And then to finish off this shelf, we have Volume 1 of iShield 21, which I won in a giveaway. Volume 1 of Arakawa Under the Bridge by Hikaru Nakamura. Volume 1 of the Bakemonogatari manga by Nisu Isin and Oh Great, which I read. I don't know why it's so low on the shelf. I kind of have a hierarchy on my shelf where all the good stuff, it goes from like really good to eh. And Bakemonogatari is a little too far down for my liking, so that might change. And then we have the Neon Genesis Evangelion, the Shinji Ikari Raising Project Volume 1. I don't remember buying this. This is probably my fiance's. Volume 1 of Kyuko-chan by Hajime Ueda. You can tell this is an old manga because of the Del Rey logo down at the bottom there. There's 2 volumes of this. This was created by the guy who did the FLCL manga. Picked this up on a whim when I went to Anime North like a decade and a half ago. And it's very weird, but I loved it. I loved it all the same. It was just a very fun manga. And then we have Volume 1 of the Ultraman remake, which Flip Otaku has been on my ass to get more of, so I think I probably will. I'm not the biggest fan of Ultraman. I like Toku and I like Mecha. Ultraman, I'm just not that familiar with, admittedly, so I think I just need to read more of it. And I think buying more of it will probably help with that. And then here we have the bottom shelf, which is entirely made up, well, not entirely, mostly made up of manga that belongs to my fiance. Volumes 1 and 2 of Flying Witch, Volume 1 of Card Captor Sakura, 2 Nier Automata books, I believe one is a light novel and the other is a short story collection. Haruto Ryo's Hibitsu, 5 centimeters per second, which I should note is another... if you're in a long-distance relationship, you've watched 5 centimeters per second, and you've watched it ad infinitum, because that, at the time, would be your favorite movie. And when you're in a long-distance relationship, you learn that that movie is frickin' depressing. So, then we have the first omnibus of Ranma Half, The God's Lie by Kaori Ozaki, Volumes 1 through 3 of Magical Girl's Sight, which I think is her favorite manga right now. If I'm not mistaken, she'll probably read me out if I'm wrong anyway, so we'll find out. Then we have Volumes 1 and 2 of The Witch's House, Volume 1 and 2, I think the complete of Codename Sailor V, which, to my understanding, follows Sailor Venus, Volume 1 and 2 of Dreaming Sun, and then Volume 1 through 3 of The Promised Neverland, which were originally mine, but she likes it a lot more than I do, so I just gave it to her because I'm a good partner. That's what you do. It's just something you do. Sorry for the quality here. I completely forgot to film this section, and I just slapped this together really quick with my phone. So, we got The Dissolving Classroom from Junji Ito, Shinner Cat, the first volume of the Ocarina of Time manga for Legend of Zelda, Tomie, No Longer Human, Shiver, Osamu Tezuka's Buddha. This, from Buddha onwards is stuff that's actually mine. So, Volume 1 of Ajin, which I want to collect more of, but I think it's out of print. The Juni Tyson light novel, which absolutely loved. The anime was fantastic. The first 3 pocket editions of Lone Wolf and Cub, which were recommended to me by Base Senpai. I'll also link him in the description below if I haven't. I believe I have, though. And then Deadmouth Death Play, Volume 1, which I absolutely freaking hated. Like, this was such a stupid manga. I would much rather eat my own foot than read this manga again. And my feet are disgusting, so... that's how serious I am. And then finally are just big manga that I don't have space for, and they're just sitting behind other manga. Like at the back of the bottom shelf. So we have the Complete Art of Full Metal Alchemist from Hiro Marakawa. This is just an art book of just all of the cool manga stuff. I think there's some anime stuff in there too. I honestly haven't read it. We bought this when we did our big last vlog where we went to Birmingham and just went to a bunch of manga stores. I've got Volume 1 of the original cyberpunk classic Battle Angel Alita that I bought literally seconds after seeing the movie because the movie was phenomenal. I had read it in scans before, but I just want to own it all, but unfortunately it's expensive, so I gotta hold off for a bit. And then here we have Volume 1 of Akira, which I'm still kicking myself for not getting that bloody hardcover box set. It's always gonna haunt me that I never bought that. And then I've got a, well, I don't have, it's my fiance's. It's, I think it's like a guidebook for the Nier Automata game. That's my best guess. I have no idea what it is, except 2B is, she's got a good anime butt. It's a good anime, but we'll just say that. We'll leave it there. And finally, we have Volume 1 of Tony Valence Radiant. This is in French. I bought this because I'm learning French specifically to read manga, sad as that sounds. And it's been helping, yeah. And then finally, we have the Neon Genesis Evangelion art book, which is phenomenal. I believe Viz Media puts this out. Check it out if you're a huge Evangelion fan like I am. It's just something you gotta have in your collection. Anyways, folks, if you've made it to the very end, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. I've got a ton of cool new videos coming out in the next few weeks and the next few months that I'm really excited about. Hopefully you're going to be excited about them too, because they are really, really cool. And then, of course, every week I do my What Have I Been Reading This Week, so you can subscribe and check out that. And, of course, as always, guys, don't forget to support legal manga. Go to www.wherecanireadmanga.com to get the lowdown on where you can support manga for free, through a subscription, or per volume. Do it all to help the creators in the industry. And, of course, it helps us get more manga, so it's a win-win for everybody. And until next time, folks, happy reading!